Welcome to the InterNACHI House of Horrors here in Boulder, Colorado. My name is Ray Klein. I'm a certified master inspector. Today I'm going to bring you some quick inspection tips for garage doors and garage door openers. And where we're going to start today is this door behind me. We're going to start with the exterior portion of the door. Typically when I go up to a house, I'm going to look at this garage door and I'm going to check for level. I'm going to look at all the door panel seams to see if the door is fairly square and level in the opening. What I'm looking for is any kind of racking or any kind of offsets that might put extra tension on the guide rails on the inside. I'm also going to look for any kind of cosmetic damage or structural damage that may have happened when somebody tried to back into the door when the door was closed. And I'm also going to look for my seals, my garage door seals around the outside and across the bottom. This particular door is missing the side seals in the upper, but this door looks in pretty good shape. A lot of times the garage floor will heave or we get a crown in the middle and we'll have gaps on both sides on the seal. So in terms of the exterior, that's about it. Why don't we go ahead and move on inside. Okay, so here we are on the interior of the garage and we're going to continue on with our garage door inspection. Typically what I like to do is leave the door closed until I inspect all the mounting hardware, guide rails, and the tension spring. So I usually start over here on the side with the guide rails. I will physically test these guide rails for tightness on both sides of the door. Now I'll go down through and I'll check all of these guide rollers to make sure that they're not worn or out of the track. I'll go through and look at the door, all the framework to make sure there's no repairs that have been made in the past. Now I'm going to go up to the top, check my tension spring, make sure there's no breaks in that. I'll check all the mounting hardware here for tightness. And I'll also look at these cable rollers at the top too. Make sure they're good and taut and we don't have any slack. So far everything looks pretty good on this door. So my next step is going to be check the garage door opener. The one thing you always want to note is what kind of a drive system you have with this opener. This particular garage door opener is a belt drive. The other types you might see are chain drive, and there's even a screw type drive too as well. So I'm going to go ahead and check and make sure I don't have too much slack in the belt or the chain. I'll get over here to the operator itself. I'll make sure that everything looks tight up here. And the one thing you always want to check for is a permanent power source for the garage door opener. A lot of times extension cords are used to power up the garage door openers. As a home inspector, I always recommend a permanent power source, which means a receptacle by itself to power that particular opener. Moving on down now, I'm ready to test the garage door opener with the button by the door. Now I'll be watching the door for smooth operation, not a lot of slack on the guide rails. This door works very smoothly. I'll walk over here and just double check one more time. Make sure everything looks good. Now my next step is to go over and I'm going to test the reverse safety. So I'm going to go ahead and close the door. I'm going to stick my foot in the beam. Okay, we had a successful test there on the reverse safety. If you don't have the infrared beam, the step you would want to try is to close the door, apply slight pressure on the bottom of the door. The pressure I applied to the door, if I don't have this type of a reverse safety, I'm trying to test to see if I've got torque limit switches in the garage door opener. If I apply enough pressure here, if I have that type of a setup, it should go ahead and reverse. Now, not all doors have that. Some of the older ones don't have any kind of reverse safety. So you want to always check for that. That's very important. That's your home inspection tip of the day. We'll see you next time.